Hey, what's up? My name is Jamie Arndt, and I'm here with another lesson. This time we're going to be talking about Texas-style blues licks with open strings. In this lesson, I'm going to show you 5 licks inspired by Texas blues guitar greats. Each one of these licks is going to have one thing in common. They're going to involve the use of open strings. The roots of Texas blues guitar can be traced back to Delta blues. You have players like Lightnin' Hopkins, Texas-born, who took that Delta blues sound utilizing open strings and country-influenced blues, and then moved it over onto the electric guitar. When the electric guitar emerged, this was influential to people like Freddie King, Jimmy and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Billy Gibbons. So we're going to talk about some unique nuances to this guitar style in this lesson. All right, here's our first lick, inspired by Jimmy Vaughan. This lick is in the key of E and utilizes open strings. All right, so we're actually going to start on the E that's on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. You're going to pick it twice. Then to the G that's on the 3rd fret of your high E string. Pick that twice. Then A with your 3rd finger on the 5th fret. And then slide up to the 7th fret, B. Then back to that G at the 3rd fret. And then open E. So the first part of this lick is... Now the second part of this lick is one of the Jimmy Vaughan signatures that's so cool. He slides into this E from 2 frets below, from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the 2nd string, while playing the E open on the 1st string. So you get these 2 unison notes, the same note, but one of them, the open string, is fixed in place, while this one, you get that slide. Then he finishes it off with this little phrase. So I'm pulling off from D to the open B string, 3rd fret to open on the 2nd string, and then the same kind of idea, 2nd fret to open, or A to G on the 3rd string. Here it is slow one more time. And a little faster. And I'll count us in. This lick actually starts on beat 4. 1, 2, 3. It's a really fun and useful little phrase. Here's a Stevie Ray Vaughan inspired lick, also in E, utilizing open strings. All right, we're in E minor pentatonic, and we're going to start with the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and we're going to give that a slight bend. And then the same kind of thing on the 2nd string. And then we're going to slide into the B at the 4th fret on the 3rd string. We're sliding from the 2nd fret. And then we're going to hit an open E string. And then slide back down from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret on the G string, on the 3rd string. And it's okay if that high E string is ringing out. And then open G, and then to E. And that E's on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then we're going to go back up to the A on the 3rd string, then open G, and back to E. And we end on that E for this first part of the phrase. Now for the next part, we're going to do a hammer-on to that same E. Real quick little hammer-on. I'm using my 3rd finger of my fretting hand. Open D into that E on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then open D, B, 2nd fret of the 5th string, B flat. And then I do this little hammer-on pull-off combo. Open A, hammer on to B flat, pull off back to open an A. Third finger on the G on the third fret of the E string. So here's what we have so far. Then I'll do that little hammer on to E, hammer on to G sharp on the G string, so third string, hammering on to that first fret, and then I'll pick the first and second strings open. So here it is, super slow. And a tempo. So here's a lick inspired by Freddie King, the Texas Cannonball. And I think of this lick as something you can play over the last 2 bars of a blues progression because it's going to end on a note that is kind of part of the turnaround. It ends on the 5 chord. We're still in the key of E, but this is going to involve a little more of a major tonality in addition to some blues kind of sounds. So what we're going to do is play an open B string and hammer on to that C sharp on the 2nd fret. Then open E, and then you're going to slide into the G sharp on the 4th fret. 4th fret of the 1st string. Then open E. Then open B. Then A, 2nd fret on the G string. We're going to do the hammer on to the G sharp. Then we're going to skip the B string and just play an open E. Then an open B. And then the A that's on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And this A is really the flat 7 of the B7 chord that turns you back around to play the E. So you could just play that whole chord. So if you're imagining playing a blues, 5 chord, 4 chord, right? It just happens in those last 2 bars of the blues. Here it is super slow. And faster. Here's a classic lick inspired by the Reverend Billy F. Gibbons of ZZ Top. Now this is a really common blues phrase that existed well before Billy played it, but we're going to be thinking of it in kind of a blues rock context with a little overdrive. Once again, key of E, get those nice open strings, and we're going to find this little shape, this little 2-string double stop shape. 3rd finger on B, 4th fret, 3rd string. 2nd finger on D, 3rd fret, 2nd string. And we're going to slide into those from a half step. But you're going to play the G string first, that B on the 3rd string. And then you're going to pick the 2nd string 2 times. And we'll play that same phrase 3 times. But let's add one more element, because this is open string Texas blues, right? Let's do upstrokes and hit that high E string each time. So I'm hitting that high E string along with the B string. And then I'm going to slide down. So my 3rd finger is on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Then open G, and then down to E. right, our final open string Texas blues phrase is going to be in a different key now. We're going to the key of G, and this is inspired by Austin bass guitarist David Grissom. He does some great things using open strings in the key of G. Here's how this lick goes. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing a G minor pentatonic phrase. I'm doing a hammer-on from F to G, 3rd fret to 5th fret on the D string, on the 4th string. Then back to the F, back to the 3rd fret. And then with my 3rd finger on the 5th fret, sliding to the C that's on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Then to the B flat, that's the 1st fret of the 5th string. Then back to the C, then back to the B flat, and then down to the G. That's the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So that's one element of this lick. But to give it that open string sound, we're going to go ahead and play the open G string, the 3rd string, with each of these notes. And the way I'm making that possible is a little bit of hybrid picking. I'm playing the main melody with the pick, and I'm using my 3rd finger to hybrid pick to play that 3rd string. Here's a little close-up of my right hand. And you can do this in any key where there's an open string, as long as the open string is the top, and the melody that you play below just has to be the notes in the key that are below that open string. So I can come up with any kind of G minor pentatonic melody that exists below the open 3rd string. Thank you for watching this lesson. I hope these licks were helpful. Really great to get this sound into your playing. They work great over blues, rock, and a lot of other styles as well. So think about utilizing open strings in your blues and pentatonic phrases to get a completely different sound. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.